by way of my take today, I title my take, "The Courts Empower and Protect Journalists in Ghana." Now I'll show you why. Mrs. Angelina Domachari, Justice of the Court of Appeal, sitting as an additional High Court judge in the Human Rights Division, recently delivered a favorable judgment for my clients, Ifia Pokora and Co. They sued the NHIA and two of its officers for assaulting them and violating their rights to work as journalists. The court affirmed their rights in Article 21 to free speech and expression, including freedom of the media. Their Article 162, Clause 4 and 5 rights to non-interference with editorial opinions, views, or comment of publication, and also to hold government to account to the citizens. The court concluded that, quote, "The work of reporters, journalists, and media houses necessarily involves working outside the confines of their office structures. No matter the case, they are entitled to, among other things, work under safe conditions. Anyone who assaults them or fails to prevent an assault on them in the ordinary course of their business, when they have a duty to do so, violates their rights to work under safe conditions," unquote. From the landmark cases of Radio I, NPP versus GBC, and the recent Citizen Ghana Right to Information sweet victory on the infamous bus branding saga, it is the court that have constantly justified, reaffirmed, and strengthened media rights and free expression. Let's act more responsibly before it is too late. In the Liberty Press case in 1968, the court observed that it must be appreciated by the press and also that and freedom lovers that without a judiciary strong, courageous, and respected, that can effectively protect the freedom which we all love so much, all talk about freedom, whether it be in the lecture room or at Bukum Square, remains no more than a mere metaphysical speculation. And the courts are entitled to look upon men such as are before me today to help them in the acquisition of the requisite strength, courage, and respect. One of the surest ways of doing so is to refrain from commenting on proceedings which are pending in the court, for these constitute some of the most fruitful fields of contempt. There is, however, no law which prohibits absolutely any such comments, but there is law which punishes it when you go, the limits are transgressed, as indeed the judge said was found in this case. Earlier in 1961, the famous Justice Olenu noted that, quote, "The object of the discipline enforced by the court in cases of contempt of court is not to vindicate the dignity of the court or the person of the judge, but to prevent undue interference with the administration of justice. The question, therefore, here is whether there has been an interference with the administration of justice," unquote. And finally, in 1994, the Supreme Court, speaking through Justice Bamford Addo in the famous page 28 case, encouraged that, quote, "Criticism of the court and of judicial decisions, however rambunctious, whether or not in good taste, and despite inaccurate statement of fact, would not amount to contempt of court, and is within the limits of the inalienable rights of every individual's freedom of speech," unquote. Now, media owners, don't put ignorant bigots behind your consoles. Media practitioners, don't hand the microphones to reckless nation wreckers. Media users, the platform is not a battlefield for bloodletting, but for information, education, and entertainment. Listeners and viewers, tune off in protest and in demand for the best that you truly deserve. Let's all act responsibly and professionally before it gets too late. And that's by way of my take, my guess.